Hey guys, had someone recently ask me about the brand Gree, Gree, and who they are and what's their story and all that good stuff. And I have to admit, I have a little bit limited knowledge on them totally, but I think I know enough to be able to inform you as a homeowner on whether or not they are a good decision for your home. So first, Gree is made in China. They are a Chinese company and they are one of the largest in the world. In fact, they're the largest HVAC supplier and exporter worldwide. So they're not the largest manufacturer worldwide yet during the making of this video, but they are the largest HVAC supplier and exporter worldwide. Who's the largest manufacturer? That still belongs to Daikin. Daikin and Gree have actually partnered on a few things that we'll talk about later in this video. So real quick, if we're talking about the heating and air industry, especially in the US, I think there are companies that are, they're heating and air companies. They manufacture multiple brands, but heating and air is kind of their thing. Like they focus on that. And even if they have other ventures, heating and air is their baby. That's what they do. But then there are other companies in the US that they are either a part of a larger corporation or they themselves, one or the other, whether it's the big corporation they're a part of or themselves, one or the other, they don't just focus on the heating and air industry. So a lot of them have other ventures. They're big corporations that do, they have their heating and air side of things, but they also have companies, they make tools or they install elevators or whatever it is their other arms, if you will, of their business do. But they don't just produce heating and air conditioning equipment. Gree would be a part of that side of things. So they're really big. They're a part of other big corporations and this and that. And I'm not really sure who the parent company is, whether it being Gree above them or them above Gree or whatever. I'm not sure it even matters. The thing that is interesting to me is the heating and air side of things is just part of what they do. They do lots of other things as well, making appliances and doing real estate and all the other things that this company seems to do. Why does any of that matter to you? I think ultimately, if you're looking at them as a company, I think it would be safe to say that they are one of the big dogs. When you're talking about comparing to other companies, will they be acquired by another company or will they be the one acquiring the other company? As history has shown, it's usually the bigger dog, if you will, that usually eats up the others, right? Instead of the other way around. But when it comes to the American market, Gree is ultimately, now they may make other products too, but for the most part, they make mostly ductless products. So they make the wall hung mini splits and they make some other types of mini splits, but ultimately that's the big part of their pie, if you will. Gree does make other brands. So whether they are imported into the US or not, ultimately they, just like a lot of other heating and air manufacturers, they do make other brands. And that kind of segues into what I was talking about a moment ago, where Daikin and Gree have partnered on a few things. As far as I can tell, that has not affected the American market very much, but it's definitely something to know. I think something to consider in the future. One thing I can tell you about Gree, and this has been true for many years now, is from what I remember, they were one of the first companies that made it very easy to access for homeowners. For the longest time, you could buy an air conditioner from a heating and air contractor, and there were other things on the internet you could buy. But now, as you fast forward to today, a lot of the things that used to only be able to be bought by a heating and air licensed contractor can now be bought online. And Gree, from what I remember when I was first starting to get into the trade and starting to learn this and all that, Gree was one of the first companies I remember that made it very easy for a homeowner to purchase themselves. They could be purchased from Home Depot and you could either buy them online, and I believe there's some Home Depot stores that you could just walk right into the store itself and buy it. I could be wrong on that. I've never actually seen that. I've only heard that before. So finally, as a homeowner, if you're looking at Gree as a brand, whether it be that you're looking at them online or you've had a contractor recommend them, I think it would be safe to say that, you've got all these products and brands that are being imported into America from China and other countries, but from China. And I think it would be pretty safe to say the majority of them are pretty low quality compared to a lot of the other brands and systems you can buy out there. They're certainly lower quality than the big three. And when I say the big three, of course, in the American market, I'm talking about Daikin, Mitsubishi, and Fujitsu. But I would say when you compare all those other imported Chinese made air conditioning products, I would say Gree is superior to those products. So if you're comparing Gree to some other off-brand that you've either found online or your contractor's recommending, I think that when you're not talking about the big three, if you're talking about Gree compared to everyone else, they are better than probably a lot of those other imported Chinese products. However, in my experience, now there may be someone that would disagree with this, but in my experience, they're probably a lower quality than the big three. You know, when it comes to the big three, not only are they offering things to the American market that a lot of those cheap companies, imported products are not offering, but they're also coming with better warranties. They're coming out with better products. And I just think that you're getting a whole lot more for your money as well. You know, when you're talking about the big three, you're not just talking about the product itself either. You're talking about the infrastructure, parts availability, customer support, things like that, and finding a contractor that's willing to work on it, which I know is not as big of a deal in some markets, but in some parts of the United States, it's a huge deal. So if you're in a very rural part of the United States with contractors that can't even get parts in some cases unless they want to order parts from online and import it into the US, that may play a role in your decision making. Finally, looking to the future, I would say Gree as a brand, as we continue down this path, I think that you're probably going to see more and more parts being introduced to the American market. I've noticed just from starting this YouTube channel that Gree is getting a larger footprint. When I looked up market share in the United States for heating and air brands, Gree did not even show up on the list yet. But I think that's a big yet. As time goes on, they're probably going to become a bigger part of the American market share. And whether that ever means that they're going to be bigger than the big three, I definitely think that they're going to become more and more of a household name, if for no other reason, for the plain and simple fact that you still can go online or to, stores like Home Depot and buy their products. Anyway, I hope that helps. If you're in the market for a heating and air system and you're looking at Gree, I think ultimately your decision will boil down to what are all your options and are they the best option? Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.